I mean, what, it was like 6:45 or something, like the game was over. Like that's not usual for a CBS.
Yeah, the game was over, and I was sitting around like, well, what do I do now? Like the 7 o'clock game's not on. Like, what's going on here?
Oh, amazing. Sorry, Carter. Welcome to My Gotta Podcast. I'm Jim Wood. In our 100th episode, John Powell and I review Georgia's 16-6 win over Kentucky on the road in Lexington. As always, remember to check out store.mygottapodcast.com to see our latest merch. And you can find us on social media at My Gotta Podcast. Finally, we'd love for you to check out our presenting sponsor, Axia Time, at axiatime.com. That's AXIATIME.com. Now, let's join the conversation in progress. Once again, John, we come back saying just as we predicted.
Yeah, dude, just as we predicted, everything exactly as we planned panned out.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
I batted 1,000 on coaches over unders. Just I was just so relaxed all day long.
Oh man. I mean, like never would I have expected that we would only score 16 points against them. That was crazy. Like, I had said that their defense was good, but I still didn't expect that. And it wasn't necessarily all give them credit, but it's definitely a lot of self-inflicted stuff and then just kind of shutting it down.
Yeah. There's definitely the swirling winds were also a factor, as I understand too.
They were, yeah. So quickly on that, did want to shout out. So we had some eyes in the stands. So some old friends of mine, Brad Kovacic and Adam Weinstein, they were at the game, and so they sent me that picture that I posted from the podcast account, like from a view in the seats. And I was asking them, I was like, reports of swirling winds and crazy temps, and they're like, it's crazy. So thanks Brad and Adam for the intel inside the stadium. But yeah, it sounds like the wind was nuts. I mean, they had like the sideline report from the game showing how I think like at the top of the stadium the wind was going one way, and then at the goalpost it was going another way, and then like on the field it was just like blowing the pom-poms everywhere. So
Yeah.
it was definitely a factor.
Yep, I saw that. It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah, but the game aside, just the whole like back-to-back 8-0, SEC seasons, that the 8 conference games like mandatory only started when the SEC went to divisions, right? When it expanded to 12 teams. And so this is only the third time that's ever happened. So the 95-96 Florida teams did that under Spurrier, and then 2008, 2009 Bama did that with Saban. So pretty rare company that we
So
joined.
not even Urban Meyer has done that.
Correct.
Wow.
Yep. So it's pretty crazy. So the single game, I think a lot of people were frustrated with how the game went, but on the macro level of being able to go undefeated in the SEC 2 years in a row is impressive. And I think like what you said last week, actually, right? It's like it is hard to win on the road in the SEC. It's like we've kind of forgotten that a bit, I guess.
Is kind of like what? Sorry, you're breaking up.
Oh, just that it's hard to win on the road in the SEC.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I mean,
yep.
just ask Tennessee, right?
I mean, just ask Tennessee. Just ask any of the top, top 5. I think every single one of them had struggle games on the road.
That is true. Yeah. I mean, it definitely was like you were kind of looking around like, oh, like early in the day with the TCU Baylor game was crazy. I guess while we're on that, I do think like that was the way they ran their whole field goal unit out there with like time running out and no timeouts. It made that field goal. I thought that was really like the story of the weekend to me, as far as across college football. They needed that to keep their undefeated season alive and their playoff hopes alive. So kudos to TCU. That was pretty cool. Apparently they practice that like hurry up field goal every Tuesday, I've heard. So I don't know. It's a good example of practicing those things, and then when their repetition, an opportunity met, and they succeeded. So that was pretty cool. But that happened. Ohio State struggled. They kind of pulled away late I think with like a scoop and score. Michigan struggled, almost losing to Illinois. So, and then number 5 struggled mightily.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, man. But yeah,
There
back to
was,
art. Okay,
I mean, there's just struggling all over the place. I mean, it's just, it's hard to win a college football game on the road in different, in different circumstances than you're used to. So I think that it's totally fair. Not to mention in this day and age where you got like everybody that's in the top, the top spots in the college football playoff rankings are looking over their shoulders. They're looking ahead, like, oh my gosh, like the pressure. There's a lot of pressure for a lot of these kids, and fortunately, like even as frustrating as it was to watch, like I was getting text messages from some friends, like when I think it was like 6-0 or something like that. Like when we kicked those first few field goals, and it was like, how are you feeling? I was like, I mean, I could be feeling better, but I don't feel like we're gonna lose. It's just. It is what it is.
Yeah, it was one of those like the win probability, right? Like if you look at that on ESPN, I mean, it was very high the whole game. I think the lowest it got was like 83 or 4 or something like that. So yeah, I mean, we always felt in control. Never felt like we were losing control by any means. But it was I don't know, it was like the old school. I know a lot of people say that like this is the kind of game that Kirby dreams about. Kind of deal,
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot going on with this game. I mean, a 16-6 win is like, geez Louise.
Well,
it's like a baseball score,
right? Yeah, and it was going so fast. Like you could feel CBS trying to make up for the commercials a couple of times. It was like getting close to halftime, got to go to commercial, after every stoppage. And I mean, it was over quick. I don't even remember what the elapsed time was, but I remember texting you. It was like, I mean, what, it was like 6:45 or something, like the game was over. Like that's not usual for CBS.
Yeah, the game was over and I was sitting around like, well, what do I do now? Like the 7 o'clock game's not on. Like, what's going on here?
Oh, amazing. Sorry, Carter. But yeah, no, totally. I guess like just for some like specific things from the game, I guess like the game started off really weird, right? With like the opening kickoff and there was a review for something.
Yeah,
the whole fair catch thing. Yeah.
It took forever.
That was annoying. I don't know. I feel like we've got to fix the whole replay system there or something. I don't know. But
well, we could also just fix our entire return game situation.
Well, yes, fair. But yeah, so that was just a weird start to the game. And then, like what we did say, right, was kind of like, what are we going to be trying to do on defense, et cetera, is, like stop the run. You got to shut down Chris Rodriguez. I did see, so I know in this game, he only had 51 yards on 17 carries. I saw, I think it was Brent Rollins had called it out on Twitter that, over the last 2 seasons, like his Chris Rodriguez's 2 single game lowest rushing yards were the 2 Georgia games. Because I think last year he didn't even have, I forget the stat. It was something crazy. It was like 7 yards or something super ridiculous last year. So just being able to shut him down and like thinking back, like it felt like he had more than 51 yards. I mean, he's good. He had a couple of really good runs. But I guess they just weren't, the volume wasn't there. And they threw it a lot, actually.
Yeah, I was surprised. It felt like he had more yards than what he actually had. When I saw that he had 50, he averaged 3 yards a carry and had 51 yards. I was like, man, did not feel like that during the game. And of course, we got Will Levis's like best shot of the year.
Yeah. I mean, so something that I had, like, I forgot, I think I had it jotted down somewhere that I did forget to say in the preview, like, because Kirby had said something along the lines of that Will Levis has a bazooka arm. He used the word bazooka. I mean, he does have an arm, but, and I feel like too, like, I mean, that one in the second half, I mean, he just threw that thing up and like, his receiver made a play and got to the ball. So their guys were making the plays on those downfield balls. Helped them out a lot.
Yep.
The first one was super frustrating though, because we had the crazy long review, and then it was like third and I think more than 10, right? And then they had the long pass on the sideline on their first drive. they didn't get anything out of it, but that was kind of frustrating to start the game.
Yeah. I listen, man, this game was just one of those ones that was just everything just mixed together for us to just have this, this just terrible game. I mean, it was bad. It was
Yeah.
bad. It's almost like, I don't know, like the conspiracy theories, like, are we trying to manufacture? Did we just decide? Did we just decide we needed to run the ball no matter what, and damn the consequences?
Right.
And then when we were running the ball successfully, we decided to start throwing it out of nowhere, and it was like, wait, what? Why are we doing this? It felt like James Coley or Cheney got involved, or Bobo. Like, come on, man! Like, Kenny McIntosh was just like carving people up left and right, and like we'd have 3 great runs by him, and then all of a sudden we'd get down and then have like 2 straight passes incomplete, and all of a sudden we're in a 3rd and long and get nowhere, and then all of a sudden we're kicking field goals. Like that was super frustrating. I think someone on the Dog Central text thread was like, we just needed to have Monken just throw the playbook away.
Right. Yeah. We don't need to reuse whatever that was.
Whatever the game plan was, throw it away. But I mean,
yeah,
we were absolutely just dealing out there from a rushing game perspective.
Yeah, man. I mean, career day for Kenny McIntosh.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, no, he was outstanding. And like, again, like this is the kind of thing that I think I said this after another game, and I can't believe like I'm going to say it again. It was like, I kept feeling like, why are we under center at times in the game? Because like when we're in the shotgun, we're able to run the ball because they think we might pass. And it's like, when we're under center, the whole stadium knows we're going to run, and we do. And shocking, like we get stuffed. So that's kind of frustrating. Like, I mean, is it time to throw away the jumbo package? Like, it has not been effective of late. I jokingly said that it's because we don't have Jordan Davis at tight end anymore in that, like, as the 3rd tight end in that set this season, obviously. But like, I feel like we don't know how to run behind that package because like our guys aren't. The running back is not following Jalen Carter. It's like Jalen Carter will actually like have a lane for the back to run in if they go off his hip, and they don't. Like they're either like directly behind them or they go somewhere else. It just feels like, I'm assuming most of our reps are like out of the shotgun running. And when we do this jumbo thing, like I don't know how much they work on in practice. I mean, I'm sure they run the plays, et cetera, but these guys aren't used to running off a fullback anymore. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with it anymore. It's like, as fun as that formation is, like for me, like I like the fullback and all that kind of stuff, but like, I don't know, man, it just hasn't been effective this season.
Yeah. Listen, I've been talking about I said earlier this season that the short yardage game was concerning for me. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. And you said that like pretty early, very early. It was a while ago. Yeah.
Yes. I think if you go back and listen to some of those first few from this season, I had expressed that there was a concern. Like we were lighting people up, but yet on these short yardage situations, we were unable to get anything going.
Yeah.
That's kind of been by and large. I mean, especially in this last game, that's kind of what that kind of panned out. I was like, man, it's just one of those red flags. And let me just tell you, we get down to the goal line again, and we're unable to punch it in multiple times. Like I don't like where this is going. Is kind of, if it gets down to where we have to win a college football playoff on the goal line, do you trust that we're going to figure it out?
Yeah. Well, that's where you hope that, Monken's holding the good plays for that.
Well, so here's the thing.
It's like, I don't know what to make of that.
To a certain extent, like I get it. If you want to try to run it down someone's throat and like impose our will and that kind of thing, which I know that like they all get off on that kind of stuff, which, frankly, I do too. Like I just love to just have the little cannonball, Dejon Edwards, just banging up the middle. Maybe it would be nice if he would follow his block. That could be an option. I mean, call me crazy, but that could be an option.
Could be.
Instead of not doing that. But yeah, we did it before where we had a little play action pass, little rollout, and we found Darnell Washington wide open. If it doesn't work the first time, try something different the next time. Like, okay, you want to run it down their throats on first down, second down, or first down, try something different on second down, and then try it again on third down. If that doesn't work, like try something different. Like we just plowed forward like multiple. How many times did we try to run it in on the 1 yard line?
Yeah, I mean the one where we got stopped on fourth down. I mean, wasn't it like 3 plays in a row? I think.
Yeah,
I could be
yeah.
wrong.
Which
I haven't sat
which
down and rewatched the whole game, but
I remember thinking to myself when that play happened that I was like, man, Kirby's going to come back and regret that one. Like that's another thing. So
yeah,
in the microcosm of this game, like losing that battle or losing those 3 points or losing the touchdown versus the field goal there or turning the ball over there, you know, I hate it for what that might mean for the future. So if we are in a situation where we're in a knockdown drag out in the college football playoff or in the SEC championship or national championship, like you get down into those situations, like does Kirby think back and remember like, man, I missed out on those points. We went for it on fourth down. Like maybe we should take the field goal here instead of like doing something that we probably should do, which is go for it.
yeah,
I just those little nuances of the story of the season can potentially have little ripple effects as it plays out as we get into a situation where the games mean more and the competition is stiffer.
Yeah, that's interesting because when Kirby was in the post game interview, that question came up of like you're going for it, and he said something along the lines of like he made that decision like back when he was hired or something like that. That's how he was going to coach. But I definitely remember, I think it was 2018. There was a famous Kirby rage stroke on the headset when I think like
they wanted to go for it.
Chaney wanted to go for it, and Kirby like flipped out on the headset and said like, "No, you had your chance. We're kicking a field goal." So I don't know. I feel like it hasn't always been there. But I don't know. Maybe there was something situationally there that was different. But whatever. I thought that was funny. But yeah, I mean, at hindsight, I was like, well, we should have taken the points because we've been up 19-0. But I mean, in the moment, I would, I think you're right. Like, you've got to be able to get a yard there. That was weird. And then you also always say, well, and even if we don't get it, then they've got to go 99 yards. And then they went 99 yards.
And then they went 99 yards. Yeah, we couldn't stop them. That was another thing that was kind of frustrating. Like the defense didn't exactly play as well as they probably should have. Like we made Levis look like like he was supposed to look.
Yeah, it was another, it was another bend but don't break game. I mean, outside of that one drive, there was that. I mean, when there were turnover on downs, so we did talk about that. Stoops is probably going to do that and go for some of those. But yeah, I mean, I guess it was a lot of empty yards for the most part because it was just that they had the one touchdown drive. They missed the 2-point conversion and they had a missed field goal. So nothing ever really really dangerous, but yeah. And I do know you got to call out because I think a lot of folks were getting frustrated, yours truly included, with Ringo on that first third down that I was mentioning, where they kind of out of the end zone. But he had a nice interception as well.
I'll tell you what, that kid has been notorious for such things this season. I feel like we lambast him all day long, and then all of a sudden he just comes up with a moment of brilliance, and it's like, oh, I was just making fun of you.
Yeah, seriously, no, that's very true. I also thought it was
if you're gonna make interceptions, fine.
right. I also thought it was weird that CBS picked I think they picked the Kentucky missed field goal as a play of the game. It's like, I mean, maybe you pick the play where we intercept the quarterback in the end zone and run it back to the 50, but whatever. I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird.
Didn't it get called back?
It didn't. That was the weird thing is they called a block in the back, but then it was not or something because we still had the ball at the 50. That part confused. I need to go back and rewatch that.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't remember. I just remember the flag. Maybe I missed that part on the initial watch. I haven't gone back and rewatched everything because, frankly, who wants to go back and watch a 16-6 win against Kentucky?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go back and watch it. Let's see.
I'll take your word for it.
I got something that I picked out from the preview that I thought was funny. So if you recall, Jason Huggins gave us a game of Would You Rather, and so there's 3 of them that I wanted to revisit. So the first one, he had said, would you rather blow Kentucky out or win a close game so Kirby has reason to coach him up? So I thought that was funny because we definitely ended up with the latter. How about this one? He said, would you rather run for 250 or pass for 300? I think we both said run for 250 and we ran for 247. So we dang near did it. Like,
That's funny.
I'm gonna kind of channel one of your things, John. What if I told you before the game that we were gonna run for 247 yards? How do you think the game was gonna go?
I would think that I would have thought that we would have had more than 16 points.
Exactly. And then the last one was, would you rather expose Levis as a fraud or humble Chris Rodriguez? So I think we definitely we landed on the humble Chris Rodriguez. Unfortunately, we did not expose Will Levis. He had a pretty good game.
He had a pretty good game. Yeah. It was a weird game because I didn't think that we were going to be able to run the ball as well as we did.
I know,
but sure enough, we did. Like that was just one of those things. Like on paper, is that the way? Has Kentucky unveiled like how you could potentially beat this Georgia team is to take away Stetson Bennett? Because all they did was drop everybody back and like dared Georgia to run on them.
That is true.
I mean, Stetson only threw the ball 19 times, which some of that's probably due to the elements and whatnot. But
yeah,
part of me still has an inkling that he's probably still a little banged up, and maybe that cold. When you have like a nagging injury and it's like super duper cold outside, like it kind of aggravates it a little bit.
Yep.
I don't know. It did feel like that they were taking away all the passing plays and basically getting instead of getting Stetson Bennett uncomfortable, you get Todd Monken uncomfortable where he can't call his favorite pass plays.
True. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably a combination of multiple things, but I do think that there is something to that or what they did defensively, but then also just the wind, and then like the one Stetson threw up that again, him and McConkey had another. I mean, that first pick, they were not on the same page clearly.
There was another play where him and Darnell weren't on the same page, which I feel like has happened quite a bit. And
we're on early, right? Where Darnell kind of slowed down. It seemed like, yeah. It was frustrating.
Maybe he can invite him over for Thanksgiving and they can figure it out.
Nice. I like it. I had a couple of special teams things, and then we can probably get close to wrapping it up. There was a great job by Stetson on the hold of a bad snap for that one field goal. That was good. And then you saw the inverse of that when Kentucky's holder, Chance Poor, was unable to handle their bad snap. Laces were in. You were dropping Ace Ventura gifts on the interwebs. And
laces out, Dan.
And their kicker missed that field goal. So, and then I don't know why I jotted this down so much, but the whole punt catch interference thing on Nyland Green, I thought was weird. Whatever, like it didn't impact the outcome of the game, but I felt like their punt returner was actually like trying to block Nyland Green from trying to down the ball, and then whatever. I guess not a huge deal, but was kind of weird.
That was weird.
Cool.
Yep.
But good.
No, I was just saying. Yep. Everything was weird. This was a weird game. Although Dominic Blaylock, leading wide receiver for the University of Georgia. Welcome back, sir.
Oh man, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, 2 catches, 38 yards. Nice.
Brock Bowers probably had one of the worst nights of his entire career. 2 catches for 10 yards.
Yeah, everything was so. I don't know. Well, I mean, to your point, the whole like only 19 attempts for Stetson. Very weird. Like I wouldn't have thought you're gonna have that, and then Levis throwing it 31 times. I wouldn't have thought that before the game either. That would be so. There would be such a big discrepancy between those two. That was definitely a surprise.
Yep.
All right. Well, why don't we take a quick moment to remind everyone that season 3 of My God, a Podcast is presented by Oxia Time. Oxia Time is a custom watch company, and you've got to go check out their 2021 Georgia National Championship timepieces. John and I both have one, and we love wearing them on game days. Be sure to go check them out at oxiatime.com. That's AXIATIME.com. com. They've got 3 different watches now, 2 men's watches, a standard, and then a blackout watch. And there's also a ladies' watch available now as well. And reminder that exclusively for our listeners, you can get 10% off these timepieces by using the code MyGottaPodcast at checkout.
Yep.
Let's wrap up, or we can talk about anything else if you want to, but let's acknowledge the coaches over unders. So neither of us had a good week, but you were able to steadily maintain your lead. So we both went 3 and 5. But so you still have the same lead as you did before. We both were quite bad. I know we both went over on the offensive over unders, which I guess is to be expected when Georgia ends up scoring 16 points. So we were definitely not thinking anywhere along those lines.
I have a clear path to victory. I can just continue to mimic your picks.
See, this is why we alternate every turn.
Yeah.
Now I got to make sure that I hold to that mental note. Alternate with John.
Strategery.
Oh man, yeah. So then the game ends early. And yeah, I'm not exactly sure when all the next round of games started, because the Tennessee game, that was a 7:00 game, right? I gotta say, sitting around and watching that, I still can't entirely believe that it happened that way. We'll say, like, I hated when Hooker got hurt. That really stunk. Hated that was part of it. I mean, the game was over at that point, but I just hate that for him. Yeah. So hopefully, he's able to heal up and get prepared for the NFL draft. So hated that. But I mean, man, like, they just got boat raced. It was fun to watch.
I was very upset at Logan Booker. On the Second String podcast, he had mentioned that he was going to be in a drunken Twitter Spaces after South Carolina won against Tennessee, and I was trying to hold him to it. I haven't heard back. I need to text him.
Oh, that's funny.
Hey man, you kind of owe the people a drunken Twitter Spaces making fun of Tennessee.
Okay, so I haven't listened yet, but I know that they did release an episode. They released an episode earlier in the week than they usually do. I believe it was dedicated to that in some fashion. Maybe, I don't know, just based on the title of the episode. But I haven't, like I said, I haven't had a chance to listen yet. We'll have to go check that out. See if maybe that's where Logan caught up on that with you. But yeah, no, I mean that's the whole, like, kind of focus on what's in front of you. They got so caught up, worried about making their playoff case. Kind of forgot that they had to win the rest of their games to do that.
And that's just another reminder that it's hard to win games on the road in the SEC, and to never, ever let go of the intensity that you have in these matchups. And so to a certain extent, it's frustrating. We're still number one. We're going to be number one as long as you continue to win. And there's really not much else to say other than, what we're witnessing here. I feel like that we keep saying it week in, week out when these tough games kind of come up. You feel like that this is a type of game that we lose 10 years ago.
Right.
And in the era of Kirby Smart, we're winning them. And I would much prefer winning than losing these types of games all day long.
Yes.
So when people talk about Mark Richt never won the big one, he always choked on the big stage. Like, I mean, that's frankly, this type of game is kind of what they're talking about, because he would have like these inexplicable losses when we were favored by so much and favored to win, and we would figure out ways to lose. And Kirby Smart is figuring out ways to win.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, a day when your offense isn't working, you shut it all down. I guess we would have kept it a little bit more open if the score was tighter, but we didn't have to. We didn't have to worry about that because we weren't letting them into the end zone, except for that one time.
Well, you say that, but like there were instances where we were grinding them, and all of a sudden we started throwing it deep. And again, it just goes back to the playbook. Like, man, what the heck, guys? Like, just throw that playbook away. Take what the defense gives you. If it's working, like, do it, run it until they stop it. And there were certain points that we just frankly didn't do that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I totally agree. I feel like, yeah, Todd Monken needs to listen to us with this, which I feel like he usually does do that. The whole like take what the defense is giving you, and I don't know, kind of gotten away from that a little bit of late. So hopefully we can get that back on track.
Yeah, seriously. Can we just like blow everybody out the rest of the way, please?
I would have no problems with that, especially these next guys, because we know I've got no love lost for them.
There's a game this weekend?
No, allegedly there is.
I thought it was a holiday.
Not, I mean, yeah, on Thursday, holiday Thursday. But no Christmas trees up here just yet. I know I'm the bah humbug, as opposed to the Powell House.
The Powell House is like, my wife is like, we've got like less than 30 days to get to Christmas, and I want to enjoy this stuff. So I'm literally looking at Christmas trees right now in front of my face.
Nice. We're at no Christmas until after Thanksgiving house, but it doesn't so much bother me with the other folks have it. My mom is listening right now and is just like shuddering because it's like Christmas year round at their house. So
I've been to the house, can't confirm.
Amazing. Cool. All right, man. I don't know. Anything else on the 16-6 cold game?
I've got nothing. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.